Doubles and coffee. Big headline yesterday. Gas price squeeze and thing. Men talking on the road by the double stand and thing. You see, look, Kamlan, them they going and raise gas like Coleman butt and so on in a car. First of all, that was done on purpose by the mass PNM fake news media, because they know that the regular people who busy and hustling will just assume that gas is gas. Gas is gas for your car. It had nothing to do with gas for their car. That's natural gas, but it's actually worse than gas in your car, because natural gas from NGC is the lifeblood of Trinidad and Tobago. So the headline says, gas squeeze, meaning the chairman and the United National Congress under Minister Rudal Munilal, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, and Chairman Gerald Ramdeen are now trying to do business properly at NGC. In that, let me take you back now, because they say that the UNC government is squeezing downstreamers for a proper fair price of gas, so that the people of Trinidad and Tobago do not have to systemically subsidize the profits of these downstreamers who utilize natural gas at subsidized rates allowed for by the PNM, and their super profits go in their pockets and the pockets of the shareholders. But the taxpayers, you have to take the bunks. So Gerald Ramdeen, the NGC, Rudal Munilal said this PNM madness must stop. Now let me explain it and break it down for you. Stuart Smallpin Young, that blithering idiot, and Keith Christopher Arrogant disappear former ROWLEY, went to Houston in 2017. Negotiations for gas contracts are a constant thing. You have intelligent people who are hired at NGC, chemical engineers, geologists, people who are in the oil and gas fraternity, who know about the nuances of pricing for every 1/10 of a cent US per MMBTU, and they are responsible for negotiating with the upstreamers. The upstreamers are those companies that we love, that invest billions of dollars to go search, take risk, look for gas pockets, look for gas, and then invest in the machinery and the technology to bring the gas to market. Those upstreamers then sell to NGC. NGC pays them for the gas, and then NGC sells the gas to downstreamers who use the gas end users to make their products. But in 2017, two blithering, arrogant idiots, Keith Rowley and Stuart Smallpin Young, went to Houston and they kicked out the intelligent negotiators. Jerry Brooks, the then chairman of NGC, resigned because he was in such an uproar. He was so angry that these two people, these two powerful men, the Gary Sobers of Rowley's administration and Rowley, who left Franklin, they didn't even bother with the Minister of Energy to take them to Houston. They went into the room and they concluded the negotiation where the Trinbagonians, the patriots, the intelligent, experienced workers and public servants on contract at NGC were haggling for every cent, putting pressure on EOG and BP, TT and so on, and saying, listen, they were fighting for this flag. They were fighting for you. They were fighting for your children. They were fighting for future generations to ensure that every MMBTU of gas that NGC bought, that we would be able to make a profit downstream, selling it to users. Rowley and Smallpin threw out those intelligent negotiators, and they went and settled the negotiation. And I've told you all before, and now you all understand the ramifications. The upstreamers, EOG and BPTT, their profits in their zone, in this region of the world, went up by 69% after Rowley and Smallpin's negotiation, which means, since it's a zero-sum game, that Trinidad and Tobago NGC lost 69% per MMBTU in the negotiation. In other words, those who negotiated on behalf of us were dotish, were dum-dums, were inexperienced, and they were outsmarted by the geniuses, the brilliant, intelligent people of BPTT and EOG. Now, whether they were outsmarted or they outsmarted all of us, that's for you to determine. I don't know. I was not there. All I know is that we failed in the negotiation. That they won 69% and we lost 69%. What happened after that ROWLEY small pin negotiation? NGC made a loss for the first time in history in 2018, 2019. A loss. NGC was making under Kamala Prasad Bisesa and Kevin Ramnarine up to $2 billion in profits, 350 million US and so on, in pure clean profits and so on. Of loss for the first time after Stuart Richard Young, aka Small Pin Lawyer, and Keith Rowley. But what makes it worse now? You see, when NGC tried to pass on that poor negotiation to downstreamers at Point Lisas, for example, 11 companies said, no way, we're not paying that. That does not make our products profitable. Our margins are too small to take that big bounce of 69% or any percentage thereof. And they shuttered and closed down at Point Lisas. 11 companies shuttered and closed down after ROWLEY and Small Pins negotiation. So what was the PNM's response to that? They didn't want to lose the 2020 election. So they didn't want other companies to shutter and close down or to complain. So do you know what they did? They made you, the taxpayers, take the bonds. And they left the other companies that remained to purchase prices, gas from NGC at subsidized prices, not at the profit margin, not at cost, not that increased 69%. So you, the taxpayers, your mother, your nene, your auntie, your baby, future generations were losing 70% per MMBTU since 2017 to 2025 right now. And Gerald Ramdeen and the NGC are trying to fix that, to fix the mess, to fix the quagmire, to fix the corruption, to fix the stupidity of Stuart Richard Young and Keith Rowley from the 2017 negotiation. And here comes the PNM fake news media, not telling you the truth, trying to say, oh my goodness, the UNC is squeezing these businesses. These businesses have been running on super profits allowed for by Keith Rowley and Stuart Smallpin Young and the PNM, because for political expediency, they didn't want to pass on the correct, accurate cost that they had negotiated. They didn't want the people to know how dumb they were, how dotish they were, how they had sold out Trinidad and Tobago's future. Our economy is a natural gas economy, and these two blithering idiots had given it away. And now that the NGC under Gerald Ramdeen and Rudal Munilal and Kamala Prasad Bisesa is trying to balance the books, get a fair price, the PNM fake news media giving the impression that it's hardship and so on. It should have been done since 2017, 2018, after that ridiculous failed negotiation by Rowley and Stuart Smallpin Young. So not only did EOG and them benefit by outsmarting two blithering idiots, and therefore the pain is that those idiots were representing us, were representing our future, were representing our children, were representing Pan Man. Smallpin want a wave flag. All of a sudden, he is the bastion and ambassador of Pan. Well, Pan Man get less money. Children get less money. Hospitals get less money. Roads get less money. Across the board, grants, sport, culture, labor, negotiations get less money because of Stuart Richard Young and Keith Rowley's dotish negotiation. And rather than mitigate their stupidity by increasing prices to the downstreamers, they say, nah, shh, don't let the population know. Leave the downstreamers there. Let them make their profit. We ain't go hit them because you know they gonna make noise. So let we keep it quiet so the people could vote we back and we could recuse ourselves our next 100 times. And we family and thing could benefit to $5 billion. When you see P&M, you're supposed to stress. When you see P&M, you're supposed to cuss. Where is ROWLEY? You can't find him to cuss him now. The former has gone very quiet since Maduro gone. But that's the story. That's the essence. ROWLEY. And if you all are media, go and find Jerry Brooks. Go and interview him. You all didn't interview him why he resigned back in 2017 after the Houston negotiation 8 years ago. You all didn't care. Imagine a chairman of NGC resigns and all you just allow him to go quietly. And billions of dollars have been lost over that 8-year period for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, the Treasury, the Heritage and Stabilization. That would have assisted in alleviating the Forex crunch. But ROWLEY and Smallpin didn't want to say that. They didn't want to mitigate that. They didn't care. They just didn't want you to know how dotish they were, how terrible their negotiation was, that crashed this economy. And now that Kamala Persad-Bissessar and her ministers, her cabinet, Rudal Munilal, her chairman, Gerald Ramdeen are trying to fix it, to ensure that NGC runs profitably. Remember, ROWLEY and them didn't even pay NGC bill by T&T and so on. And then MTS and Ministry of Education and things didn't even pay T&T. So T&T didn't pay NGC. And the ministries under ROWLEY didn't even pay T&T for electricity. They weren't paying their bills. They were running this economy into the ground. Kamala Persad-Bissessar will fix it. Revenue streams will come on board. There will be new gas finds. Exxon is coming. The energy chamber, the monopoly that they have held on energy in Trinidad and Tobago, snuffing out young, bright, local people, local companies, and controlling them with store and different methodologies to keep them out, to keep the old boys club. Kamala Persad-Bissessar say fire burn the energy chamber. What say you, DAX driver? Your P&M Balize house, Balize sucking imbecile, DAX driver? That's how it goes. The people can finally deal with you. You thought you are big, high and mighty. You are so bougie and so rich and so much money that the people didn't care. Well, the people elected a prime minister who care about them. So she will fight on their behalf. So good luck to you, energy chamber. Your days of sucking the blood of Trinidad and Tobago is over. Down to even eating food and drink at Hyatt, shrimps and scotch, all they used to make the taxpayers pay for it. All the energy chamber have no shame. And who's the feature speaker at that energy chamber all the time? Either ROWLEY or Smallpin. But fire burn all of that. To the chairman of NGC, to Rudal Munilal, to Kamala Persad-Bissessar, well done. The people deserve what belongs to them. We deserve to maximize the profits for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. To the others who have been benefiting from maximum super profits because of the corruption and the ineptitude of the P&M under ROWLEY and Smallpin. Those days are over. Make your normal profits. Enjoy normal profits. Share the wealth with the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because the resources, the natural gas, every bit, every MMBTU that comes out belongs to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. You have a government that will fight for our share, for the people's share, in order to provide services to the people, for the people, not to wean the people of their own resources like ROWLEY and Smallpin. Fire burn the P&M. And fire burn the P&M fake news media for not explaining what is taking place. NGC is tipping the scales back in favor of the people and the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. That's the job. That's the responsibility. That's the goal. And that's what must be done. Not like two blithering idiots throwing all the intelligent people out of the negotiation to conduct and concoct some ridiculous negotiation that only those behind some closet benefited. But the people of Trinidad and Tobago were made to suffer and lose billions of dollars, and they still have the arrogance to be talking and playing flag woman, waving flag in Pan by now. The ambassador of Pan, Smallpin. I'm sure all of you Pan men, you big strong Pan men across Trinidad and Tobago are happy that you have a Smallpin as a Pan ambassador. Kamala is in charge. She will fight for you to serve the people. understand that, and she's strong, and she bad, and she heart big, filled with love for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago fools, bless.